This film explains the journey to direct payments and the 10 steps to getting the support you need. The film commences with an animation. The people who will appear throughout the film appear in picture frames. The animation continues with a figure who becomes angry. The figure turns into the letter I to form the sentence, "I need help." This appears above a moving path. Pat Owen, the mother of Tim Owen, a service user, speaks.
My journey towards direct payments was what you might call a last resort. I'd gone through anything and everything else. My son had been into some bad places and I was offered direct payments. I was very wary at the time because of doing the paperwork and money side of it. But then I was, by my advocate, I was advised, why don't I try the Essex Pass? It was newly started at the time and I jumped at it and I've never looked back.
Cindy Peacock, a navigator at ECDP, speaks.
When I first started losing my eyesight, I felt that denial. I knew I was losing my sight, but I would be thinking, I can do this. It doesn't matter. I'm just going to carry on. And I'd push myself and do things that put myself in a really difficult and dangerous sometimes position. So that's when I decided I needed to do something about it.
The animation returns with a figure on a moving path. A telephone box appears. The figure moves into the telephone box. The telephone box disappears and the figure turns into the letter I to form the sentence, "I make contact." Katie Thorpe, a service user at ECDP, appears alongside her mother, Alison Thorpe, who speaks.
You're at your wit's end, you're tired, you're worn out, and you don't feel that you've got anything left to actually go and fight or look for anything out there to help you. Your social worker should be able to help. We had a lovely lady who listened, took notice and steered us in the right direction.
The animation returns with a figure alongside a doctor on a moving path. The figure turns into the letter I to form the sentence, "I have an assessment." Andy Crow, a navigator at ECDP, speaks.
Assessments are things people can build fear on, worry about and so forth. But they're a journey that everyone needs to take on their direct payment or personal budget on getting one. I mean, very much it's about you explaining yourself, your needs, how do we meet those needs. It's very important that you get a copy of your assessment, that you check it through. If you feel there's any amendments that are required, state them, get them back to the social worker. Invariably, if a social worker's taken the time to write it, the quicker you go through that, the quicker you'll get your direct payment, the quicker your needs can be met and you can get the correct outcomes that you're looking for.
The animation returns with a clock with its hands moving. The sentence, "I am means tested," appears on a moving path. Pat speaks.
If more people knew about this, I'm sure they would take up the opportunity to do this to make life so much easier for them when they're going through so much. Ask questions, ask for an advocate who can be very helpful.
Angie Taylor, a direct payment advisor at ECDP, speaks.
When somebody is eligible for social care, they will have a financial assessment, which is also sometimes referred to as a FABA. They'll be asked about their income and savings, and what they pay towards their care will be based on the answers they give.
The animation returns. The figure appears on a moving path alongside a signpost, which is marked direct and indirect in opposite directions. The figure turns into the letter I to form the sentence, "I choose direct payments." Lucy Chapman, a support planner at ECDP, speaks.
So when you know that you are eligible for a personal budget, then you can make the choice as to whether you would like to have a direct payment. There's 3 options. You can either have a managed service, which means that the council will put in your support for you, so you don't really have much involvement in that process. So that's a managed service. A second option is having a direct payment. So a direct payment means that you do have choice and control over what support it is that you feel can meet your needs. And then the third option is you could have a mixture of the 2.
The animation returns with a figure on a moving path alongside a piece of paper with My Support Plan written at the top. This then disappears and the figure turns into the letter I to form the sentence, I write how I'd like to be supported. Lucy speaks.
Now that you have chosen to have a direct payment, it's now time to write your support plan. So your social worker can write that for you, or you may want to write it yourself and submit that then to the council to be agreed. Or you could use ECDP, myself or one of the other support planners will help you to write your support plan. Then we can submit your plan back to your social worker for you.
The animation returns. A figure on a moving path is pulling the word advice onto the screen. The figure turns into the letter I to form the sentence, I get more advice. Cindy speaks.
You've got to do this, you've got to do that. And I was thinking, oh, what? I can't do this. I started filling in forms, making phone calls, getting letters through the post I didn't understand, and the whole thing was just absolutely, completely overwhelming. And it wasn't until I realised there was organisations like ECDP that could support me with all of them things that I realised actually it doesn't need to be that difficult.
Louise Treen, a communications assistant at ECDP, speaks.
If you would like further advice or any other guidance on direct payments, please contact the ILA as they have guidance available and all information about employing a carer or a PA.
The animation returns. The words, I find out if my support plan has been accepted, appears upon a moving path. Lucy speaks.
Once your plan is then with the council, it may be that your plan is validated and agreed, or it may be that the council disagree with some of the things that you've put into your plan and therefore the plan has been rejected. But we need to then find out why it's been rejected and what it is that you may wish then to change to your plan. If your plan has been rejected and you don't agree with that decision, you can then follow the complaints procedure through the council.
The animation returns. A hand of money appears above 3 boxes which are labelled Me, ECDP and Family. A hand pushes a button and the money is put into the box labelled Me. The figure turns into the letter I to form the sentence, I choose how I want to receive my money, upon a moving path. Pat speaks.
It was put to me that I could use Essex Pass rather than go to banks, which I was very dubious of, and it would be more time and more paperwork for me to do, which I am not very good at. I've got an account manager. Anything I need to know, she's like a lifeline to me.
Louise speaks.
There are 3 ways you can receive your direct payment. The first option is ECDP manage your payment for you, so you don't have to go to the bank account, we manage the whole process for you. The second way is you do it all of yourself, so you go to the bank, you set up the account and you manage it, your own funding. And the third way is that you get a family member to do it and you set up an independent living trust.
The animation returns with a bag of money falling next to a figure upon a moving path. The figure turns into the letter I to form the sentence, I receive my direct payment. Joshua Newton, a service user and ECDP design volunteer, speaks.
Direct payments have given me a lot of independence in my life.
Alison speaks.
Oh, the benefit of having direct payments for Katie have been enormous. By having direct payments, she's able to do all those things like trampolining, like swimming, like music therapy. And as a family, it's given us time to spend together. It's given the whole family a life back.
Melissa Thorpe, sister of Katie, a service user, speaks.
Direct payments has had a huge benefit on our family. Katie's become more independent and has her own life. Mum's been able to go back to work. It's just given us all so much more freedom.
Andy speaks.
A direct payment enables me to be independent. I love travelling. The direct payment part of it can still be used to pay your PA when you're on holiday. You know, it's just dependent on what you want to do with it, really.
Cindy speaks.
I used my direct payment to pay for a college course to teach me how to use computer software, being visually impaired. I have a circle of friends now. I'm working. All them things would not have been possible if it weren't for my direct payment.
Pat speaks.
It gives me more time to look after my elderly mother, and it's a godsend to me.
This film and an information booklet is also available online at www.ecdp.org.uk/journey.